It's clever. Don't mind me as I fix my completely ridiculous bun, but you know, it's just that kind of day. So I'm presenting you my best self. Anyway, thank you for coming back. As per usual, I am behind on uploading videos once per week, and I think that, you know, I'm probably just not going to upload videos once per week, but I'll try. I set aside some time today to actually look at my goals and decide how I want to get there, which is probably something I've been avoiding doing because I have so many goals and so many things that I want to do that sometimes it gets overwhelming, and I just decide, yeah, fuck it, I'm not going to worry about any of these goals, and I'm going to, like, take a nap instead. But after this week and it being a long weekend, I've had a little bit more time to recollect and gain my bearings and kind of take a look at what I want to do and how I want to do it. So YouTube is still on my list of things that I want to do because it challenges me. Now anyway, I want to continue the conversation on overcoming dating anxiety because I think it's an important topic. And I'm actually at the point now where I'm not experiencing any dating anxiety, so it's kind of interesting to take a look back at the blog post and see what I think from a standpoint of not currently experiencing dating anxiety. In the last post, or in the last video, I talked about the importance of figuring out what it is you're feeling and why you're feeling it, and kind of giving that feeling a character. And in the last post or last video, I talk about how my character in terms of dating anxiety is this little kid who just wants to be loved and just wants to feel accepted and wants to feel like she's important and somebody loves her. And in that meditation, and you can go and check it out over on the video, but I discovered a lot of the reasons why I was feeling what I was feeling. And you know, a lot of them are obvious. Like, of course I have anxiety because I want to be loved, but I also have anxiety in not wanting to be abandoned. And I think not being abandoned extends to me abandoning myself. And what I mean by that is I think it's really, really easy to try and be someone you're not in order to have someone like you. And it's even in ways that we don't realize we're doing it. And there are some people that this is not an issue for, and if that's the case, you can totally skip this video. But I have always kind of had that issue of wanting to be so nurturing that I will give up my own sanity and boundaries and the things that I need in order to help make someone else feel better, or make someone else feel loved, or to make someone else feel like they're important, even if I'm not getting that in return. That's like a huge thing for me, and I've done that for as long as I can remember. And the older I get, the more I work on it, because even if that works, someday I'm gonna wake up, let's say I've been in a relationship for a year, someday I'm gonna wake up and realize, oh fuck, I'm not me. I'm in this relationship and I'm making all these sacrifices and I'm doing all of this stuff that I don't actually want to do, but I want to do it for them, but I've completely let what I need go to the wayside. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any compromises or things that you don't compromise for your person, but there's boundaries and there's things that you have to keep for yourself in order for a relationship to ever work. So anyway, in my last video, I kind of combined steps 1 and 2 from the blog post on overcoming dating anxiety. And those steps on the blog post is 1, identify what you're feeling, 2, do this visualization meditation, and step 3 is imagine what would happen if you succeeded. Now, this isn't like you must do step 1 in order to do step 2, and you must do step 1 and 2 in order to get to step 3. 1 and 2 kind of go together, which is why I combine them into one video, but step 3 is kind of a standalone. You can do this anytime. It doesn't have to be 1st, 2nd, or 16th. It's something that helps me not only in dating anxiety, but also just in regular anxiety. But it's taking a moment to ask yourself, what happens if I succeeded? And what I mean by what happens if I succeeded is in those moments where I have anxiety about who I'm dating, it's often a string of questions and a string of ideas in my brain going, well, maybe if you lost a little bit of weight, they would like you more. Or maybe if you stop being so outspoken and talking all the time, they would like you more. Or Maybe if you weren't so stubborn and in your face about what you think and being opinionated and all of that, maybe they would like you more. And I just start going on this string of events, of ideas in my head of like all the ways I could change myself in order for somebody else to like me more. And that is when I have to take a second and say, what would happen if you succeeded? What would happen if you did decide to stop speaking your mind and then they did like you more? What would happen if you decided to buy a whole new wardrobe because you don't dress sexy enough? Hard to believe, I know. What would you do? What would happen if you decided to lose weight for this person? What would happen if you stopped doing all of the things that you loved so that you could spend time with them and you could adhere to their schedule? What would happen if you changed your values and your beliefs in the core of who you are to be with this person and hope that they liked you more? And then let's just say they did. Let's just say they liked this new version of yourself. There's a couple of things that would happen here. One, they still wouldn't like you, possibly. Two, you might be an entirely new person and they'll like you. Or three, you're an entirely new person and you wake up one day and you realize, holy fucking shit, I changed my whole self just so that this person would like me. And then you start resenting that person. Or you wake up and you're a different person and you don't like yourself anymore. And you start to still resent this person or decide, like, I don't even like this person because this isn't who I am. And in the long game, it's way easier to just go and be yourself right from the beginning. Even if it's the hard thing, even if it's the vulnerable thing, even if it means that relationships end quickly because you are your authentic self from the very freaking beginning and you aren't going to make any changes. You're not going to try and be less loud. You're not going to try and be less of who you are in order to fit into a box of what somebody needs for their partner. So that is helpful for me because I am the type of person who will automatically change without even meaning to in order to be a better partner to the person I'm with. And that is something I'm working to build boundaries on because I've always been that way. In my romantic relationships and in my friendships, I will allow toxic people to suck off of my energy because I am, first of all, a major empath. And secondly, I'm a people pleaser. And thirdly, I was always the person who was there for people when they needed it. From the time that I was a little kid, that was my role. And I don't know if it's because I'm the oldest daughter of my family, and I don't know if it's just because my mom relied on me a lot as a child. But either way, I think it's probably both of those things and then probably some other things. But because of that, I have to learn how to put boundaries in place to not change who I am in order to be a better partner, because I have done that so many times and it goes terribly because I am a loud person. I am super fucking opinionated. I am really confident even when I'm wrong. And I'm also just like a big personality and I don't want to have to squelch who I am in order to be with somebody else. And my mom used to ask me, like, this is another side tangent, but my mom used to ask me, I don't understand why you change who you are in order to be with somebody. Those people love you for who you are because they fell in love with you as you are. And I don't think that's always true, because I think that when we start dating someone in the beginning, we're showing them who they want to see. If we're not consciously aware of it, we're like, or at least I do this, I have to consciously make myself not over fluff or even bend over and, shrink myself. Sorry, bend over is probably not the word I wanted to use in this scenario. But I have to consciously remember that. And Brene Brown has an amazing quote about, like, don't overfluff and don't shrink yourself. And I have to do that all of the time because I want to meet the person where they're at and what they need. I don't know if that makes sense, but, like, I can tell what a person needs and wants to be on the receiving end of when they're in a first date or a second date, and I like matching that energy because it's just who I am, and that's how I communicate, and that's how I connect, and I'm a connector, and that causes problems for me in terms of boundaries because I always want to be the person that people connect with, and so I have been working on that, and this, for those of you who do the same thing, this has been really helpful for me to think about, well, what would happen if I succeeded? Even when I had somebody ask me, well, what do you do about when people ghost you? Like, how do you handle that? And this happens all the time. Everybody knows that ghosting is like a fucking millennial epidemic and younger epidemic. And even actually not even a millennial thing. Like, I know 50-year-olds who are getting ghosted. And so anyway, I said, think about if you reaching out to him, whatever it is you want to say now, and he continues to ignore you, and let's just say you finally found the one thing that you could say that will get him to respond and change his mind. Would you want to be with somebody who decided that the best way to get rid of you was to stop talking to you? Like, would you want to be with somebody who was so unconcerned with how you felt that they just ghosted, that they just stopped responding, that they completely ignore you? Is that really what you want? Is that what you want in a partner? Is that what you want in a lifelong commitment? Or even a year-long commitment? That's not what I want. I mean, maybe some people are into that, but that's helpful for me. And it was helpful for her too. She had never thought about it that way, of like, yeah, you're right, this guy's a shithead. Like, I don't, like, my ego is the one that's wanting to be like, you come back over here and mourn me. But your ego is not always your friend. And your ego makes you do stuff where it's like, I'm going to make this person come back to me even though I don't actually want this person, because why would I want some little fucking shithead that's so scared of confrontation that he can't just tell me, hey, I'm not into you? So, anyway, I had a friend who realized recently that she thinks that she tricked her boyfriend into dating her, and she thinks she was the person that he needed, the person that he wanted in a partner, and she kind of molded herself into, she's an extreme empath too, and she kind of molded herself into what she thought he needed. And they fell in love, and they moved in together, and they've been together for the last 2 years. And recently she realized, this person doesn't know who I am, because even though he's been the same the whole time, I started off not being me. And now she's kind of like working through it and deciding who she is and who she is with this person. And she's really not sure what it's going to look like on the other side of things. So it is possible to trick people into loving you. It's also possible to trick people into wanting to date you. But why would you want to do that? I personally would like somebody to love me for who I am. Even when I'm wearing a fucking sweatshirt and have greasy hair and I'm wearing a fucking soccer jersey, even though I don't play soccer. And I also want somebody who is not afraid of who I am and expects me to change into somebody who better suits them, because that'd be doing us both a disservice in the long run, because it's just not going to work out. So, anyway, I hope that's helpful. If you have any experiences where you've realized that either the hard way or you have other things that are related to it, drop it in the comments, because I think it's an interesting topic, and I think that women especially do it a lot. I know guys do it too, but women have kind of been trained to be the nurturers and to be the people who put themselves second in order for the man in the relationship to succeed and be who they need to be in order to make an impact on the world or even just support the family. So, yeah, I think it's an interesting topic, but anyway, thank you for listening to my rant. I hope it was helpful. And if you liked this video, drop a like for me so that I know there are people watching. And if you really liked it, subscribe so that I can take 16 to 17. So anyway, lots of love to you guys, and I hope you have a good week.